Hello and welcome back. It's time for the semifinals of Pro Tour Your Move Games. Or is it Pro Tour Cabal Therapy?
I'm not the one.
One of the two. One of the two.
We're going to start out with quite a matchup. Darwin Kastle versus Rob Dougherty.
By that point, the only reanimation I played against was Camille's.
9-0 from Your Move Games.
That wasn't why I was 10-0, right?
Kind of fun to listen to these guys talk.
I was playing pretty well at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the rock isn't the reason you weren't 10-0. You know what I mean?
Darwin Kastle started out 10-0 at this event.
No, it was Psychic Talk.
And after 10 rounds, had you played against the rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Darwin Kastle running the rock.
Yeah, I'd be much happier if you were playing Psychic Talk, frankly.
Rob Dougherty running Reanimator.
And probably the closest I've come to your deck is John over there, and he beat me 2-0, so if that means anything about this matchup.
Are we on yet, by the way, or are we on yet?
They said we could shuffle and present decks.
Oh, we're listening.
Oh, we're just listening to you chat
I'd
away.
like to point out that this deck was initially designed by David Humphreys. We do a lot of deck design on the team, but this one was his.
Oh, I already pointed that out, Rob. I got you covered. Just in case you forgot.
Yeah.
I got Dave's back.
Dougherty is apparently the one who designed last year's version of the deck, the Benzo deck that got multiples of them into the top 8.
Less success. Considerably
This year, Dave designed this deck. He's not here, but there he is.
I helped him work on it, made a lot of changes, but it was Dave's original design.
Dave's baby.
Yep.
3 different decks got these Your Move guys into the top 8.
What? Multiple times. I've been waiting for Rob to show up. He took his time about getting here. He's fortunate
Dramatic
that
entrance.
it's top 4, so he doesn't have to worry about game losses for showing up late and stuff.
We're joking about that.
It's the top 8. It could be Zila, and he'll get a game loss against you.
Sorry, everybody. I'll speed it up.
For those who are curious about that reference, Jason Zila, in fact, showed up late to the top 8 of Pro Tour Paris, where he was playing Darwin Kastle in the quarterfinals, and he received a game loss for getting lost in the subway.
I didn't remember that was against Kastle.
Oh, I remember the Pro Tour trivia. And actually, I also remember talking to Zila about it. Him saying that his matchup against Darwin after sideboarding was insanely good, but game 1 was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So the game loss hurt him severely.
Because he's got to play on
He still has to play on sideboarded for the first game. So after sideboarding, all his deck was efficient removal and Shadow Guild Mages to kill Castle's Frenetica Freaks and Goblin Elite Infantry and such. Yes, he lost to the subway.
Look at him, they're sniping about time.
I have to think of everything.
Oh, yeah.
But then doesn't it make it invalid that I don't think as much on my end of the playtesting game?
That's not my fault.
Better if we just got more games in.
They're debating playtesting strategies.
Well, after the top 4 without thinking, right? Yeah, I think a little bit more Pro Tour than playtesting, just a bit. So, I assume you're going to shuffle my deck at some point. I add 2 sleeves, but I mean, last match, so keep an eye out when you're shuffling, see if you find it. But so far, I don't suspect that's the case so far, because I don't feel any that have cracked or anything.
These two obviously pretty friendly with each other. Been teammates for years and years and years and years.
Are you going to be watching I shuffle, make more piles and stuff? Because my deck's pretty much random.
This is going to be my last pile.
All right.
Paris was one of 7 top 8s for Darwin Kastle.
Darwin's one of the he's one of the most consistent players out there in terms of his top finishes. He's actually coming into this event. He was in danger of falling off the train.
He was unqualified for the next Pro Tour.
He was.
He needed a Chicago invite. He needed top 32 here, or he was going to have to go to the Grand Prix and the qualifier circuit. And
absolutely. And
try to find an invite in the next couple of weeks.
Last year, actually, I remember the beginning of last season. Or actually 2 seasons ago, when Darwin had decided to become a professional Magic player, he started off with a win at Grand Prix Manchester. But he followed up with a pretty disappointing season. And then last year, he started his season with a really good result, top 8 at Pro Tour New Orleans. And then he had a fairly disappointing season after that. Now he's in danger of falling off the train, and here he is, back in the top 4.
Yeah, it was the New Orleans top 8 falling off is kind of what
the top 8 falling off.
Points away,
but here he is, coming get him back.
Replacing a top 8 with the top 8 is a good way to stay on the train for quite a while.
Absolutely.
I was debating last night, trying to figure out who's been on the train the longest.
Who's been on the train?
Speaking of Pro Tour trivia, like never had to go back to the QT circuit. Like Ben Rubin had to go back to the QT
True.
circuit at one point.
All right.
John didn't until just now.
Finkel needed the invitational for this, so Finkel is
yeah.
not the answer.
Well, I mean, is it someone who
qualified for the most consecutive Pro Tours on Pro Tour points?
No, I'm not smart enough to keep track of these things.
It's easier to switch them out.
Well, not mentioned.
I
of course.
think it was probably Darwin.
Well, it doesn't seem like, of course.
No, Darwin had to go back to the qualifiers once before.
Really?
Grand Prix Indianapolis. He was unqualified
Really?
for whatever Pro Tour. That was in LA. That was like LA 99 or so. So I'm actually not positive what the answer is. But
I think it would have to be John.
Black is,
no, current streak. Current streak.
Current streak.
Current
Okay.
streak.
I thought you meant like longest consecutive just
No,
overall.
Rob?
Well, I got these sleeves.
I don't think it's Dougherty.
No, Rob wasn't on. Rob had to win a qualifier for Paris back in the day.
No, but I mean, he didn't really break out until the New York where he built the utility belt
it wasn't
deck.
until then.
I don't think he was a gravy trader until the utility belt deck.
No.
So I know of at least one person that guaranteed goes back longer than that. Goes back a year longer than that.
I don't think I'm going to.
That's Mike Turian.
Ah.
Turian has been on since Finkel's New York. He qualified for Finkel's New York via qualifier.
Gary ever have to play the qualifier? Wise?
Gary Wise, yes. Gary Wise won a QT in England
he won a qualifier.
earlier this year.
He was. There was actually a big ordeal on the internet about Gary falling off that.
But it wasn't just that he might fall off. It's like he had to win a QT.
Yeah, he
just
won a qualifier.
Right. So other people, I wonder if Raphael Levy's ever had to go back to the QTs because he's been around for.
Levy's been around for a long time.
I mean, he's been on the Pro Tour, but I don't know if he ever had to go back to the QTs.
I don't know.
It could be Turian.
Could be Turian. Could be Levy.
Could be Levy.
Oh, great. This one's beat up too.
I can't think of an American that's been on longer than Turian.
We need a pre-game show here.
Let's get the cheerleaders from next door to come over while these guys are sitting here and
Yeah, anyone who's had Rob Dougherty force them to replace a sleeve can take solace in the fact that he's doing the same thing to his teammate. I don't think Rob's suspicious of Darwin's sleeves, but he believes the game should be played a certain way.
All right, and you're done shuffling?
I'm done shuffling.
Okay.
So
I'm
Whoa,
going to cut my.
we got some crazy visuals here.
Yeah, I'm going to change the perception.
Really?
All right, it looks like we're Darwin Kastle has won the die roll. He has chosen to play first, of course.
Good luck.
I'm actually curious if anyone in this entire tournament at any point chose to draw first.
Yeah, I watched it happen.
Really?
Absolutely. Like tog on tog mirrors and stuff like
Really?
that. Yeah, when you get when neither one of the decks is playing a turn 3 kill deck.
Okay.
Drawing's
I don't know.
not at all crazy.
I don't know.
In fact, I believe I was John Larkin running his deck, chose draw.
Really?
Yeah, it was Larkin was playing against Psychotog and he chose draw. Because he'd sideboarded into the Shadow Mage Infiltrator deck. He's all Mesmeric Fiends and Infiltrators in the back. It's an exhaustion game. Like, their whole strategy, they're not a combo deck after sideboarding when they bring in the Finkles. They're playing an exhaustion deck.
They still don't want to get force spiked though. The force spikes get a lot better when you're playing.
I'm pretty sure. I know I've seen it happen, and I think it was Larkin.
Interesting.
The one thing you got to say about Larkin, he's not afraid to make the thing that he thinks is right. He doesn't worry about what other people think about what he's doing.
Well, he
like that Vampiric Tutor for the Vampiric Tutor. Like, most people would have just Vampiric Tutored for something else so they don't look like an idiot, right? No, he's like, all right, I screwed up. Now let me make the best of this bad situation.
I talked to him after that.
And then the best part is that you get the Cabal Therapy was versus Castle, right? Yeah, this is against Castle, and Castle whiffs with a Cabal Therapy, and because Larkin's got a Vampiric Tutor in his hand, which he shouldn't have, and Larkin turns to the crowd and winks.
I'm going to target you with Cabal Therapy, and the card I'm going to name is...
How good is he? Entomb. Swing and?
That's Swamp. Tutor.
The Tutor, the Therapy.
Swamp. Reanimate. Butcher.
Swing and a miss.
Seems like Vampiric Tutor might have been a better choice.
He could have destroyed that hand if he wanted to.
Yes.
That could have been a devastating therapy.
Instead, it was peak.
Instead, it was
Don't
peak.
draw.
How good is that hand? Vampiric.
Someone just went down a lot this time.
He could, I mean, he could Vampiric for Entomb and then second turn put a Verdant Force into play, right?
Drop cards on the table.
Problem is that Castle can just play an elf or something and sack it for the Entomb, to flashback the therapy.
So, ball therapy resolves, take the hand back.
Pretty solid hand from Rob Dougherty.
Very good one.
All right, good.
This matchup really comes down to the Rock trying to strip all the goodies out of the Reanimator deck's hands. But there are a lot of goodies in Rob Dougherty's hand.
True.
Kastle needed to hit on that therapy. If he hits a piece of that, then he can come back, play a mana creature, sack it.
Here you go.
Could potentially be in good shape if he'd hit. But
Actually, if you, it's interesting that the card he chose was Entomb. I mean, Entomb's clearly the most immediate threat because Rob he doesn't get another shot at stopping Rob from entombing. But if he chooses Vampiric Tutor with the Cabal Therapy, then on the following turn, Rob doesn't have the option of going for a replacement card for whatever he misses.
I'm gonna Cabal Therapy.
Yep. Flashback to therapy.
Better results.
Name Reanimate, right?
Well.
Oh, you make Rob Vampiric's response. That's kind of cute.
Seems like a good time for the cast Vampiric Tutor. Yep.
Because I don't know, it just seems like Vampiric Tutor is the only card he's guaranteed to miss on the following turn. It's the only,
that's interesting.
So I don't
No,
know.
he can guaranteed miss an
He's guaranteed to miss
an
Entomb
instant.
as well, but
Both Tutor and Entomb. You missed with both of them.
it's true.
I just want to say when we're evaluating the camera crews later,
The first person to make me did a better job than the second person.
What the?
I just ran it through underneath myself. It worked.
See, you did it yourself?
Teammates sharing technology about everything.
Darwin is a Blockbuster employee. He's clearly a film expert and knows that.
Nice.
He knows his miking.
I thought
Right?
we had no secret between each other.
Castle's a manager of a Blockbuster. He's thinking about becoming a history teacher. He was telling us at lunch.
Huh.
So magic cards goes on top of my
Vampiric Tutor
board.
goes in your graveyard. We've already taken your life. Now I need to name a card.
I'm gonna guess.
You named Reanimate, right? You gotta name Reanimate.
Yeah.
And we will get to
I'm
find
gonna
out what
say,
Dougherty's last draw phase was.
Reanimate.
An interesting choice.
Excellent choice.
Oh, it's yet another Vampiric Tutor.
So the new information.
The Vampiric Tutor card's pretty good.
Great. I'm glad that. So. Alright, no. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3.
Who do you think has the advantage in this matchup?
Game, and I'm ready for you to take your turn.
I'm not really sure.
People said it was very close.
It seems like it's fairly close. I mean, Dougherty has a lot of hand destruction, a lot of ability to just put very powerful threats into play quickly. But Castle's deck rather has 4 Vampiric Tutors and 5 copies of various forms of Edict. So the fatty plan, other than just a Verdant Force right away before Darwin can cast an Edict, doesn't seem like it's particularly effective. I wonder how good Predict would have been in this tournament, with the number of tutors going around. And the Erratic Explosion deck. Explosion, you predict you, named Draco. Prevent 16, draw a card. Draw 2 cards.
They're not going to prevent 16. They're going to hit something.
They will. I'm guessing you're preventing 14 or so. A little better than Sunfire Bomb.
Therapy named Diabolic Edict?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
It's the one you want to nail. Of course, Kastle pausing to think,
He made
probably.
Vampiric.
He's representing Vampiric Tutor,
Yeah.
or telegraphing it, depending on your point of view. Yeah, I don't think he wouldn't act this much, right?
So your hands, an unknown card. Yeah, I think I need to respond to that.
Yep.
I'm gonna add Vampiric Tutor to this deck.
Sure.
It seems like the last turn, only different.
Dougherty, 18 cost.
Seems so weird that the Rock is as successful in this field as it's been. I mean, the deck doesn't look as nearly as powerful on paper
Absolutely
as
not.
all these blisteringly fast combo decks.
I was discussing this with a number of players over the weekend, and it's really interesting how successful the Rock can be, just given the fact that the field has shifted so much away from just overpowered blue decks to decks that are just very. I mean, the decks are very, very powerful, but they're also very fragile. And so many of the decks in the environment, I mean, from the Reanimator combo type decks to just the Psychotog control decks, so many of them, they hinge around individual powerful permanents. And the Rock has the ability to both strip the powerful spells that allow to get those permanents into play, and just to destroy those permanents fairly efficiently with edicts. And the other fast decks, like the Suicide Black decks, as well as the
Dougherty did indeed name Diabolic Edict.
As well as the Goblin Slide decks, they're all very vulnerable to Pernicious Deed.
Yeah, I used to think the Rock did well against the creature decks.
It used to be that the Rock had problems.
Monger.
Absolutely, it used to be that the Rock had problems with the control decks, or not specifically the control decks, but the decks that were able to get their powerful permanents into play and protect them very quickly. And I mean, that's no longer possible without Force of Will. It's just not efficient.
Yep.
It's actually very like the version of Psychotog that I built for this tournament. It was at one point it was very successful against the Rock, and then the version that we ended up playing was actually, we considered the Rock to be perhaps the worst matchup for the deck, simply because we cut thwarts. And no longer having the ability to play a Psychotog and protect it with thwart and foil just made the matchup so much worse, because you were no longer able to protect your key permanent against their efficient removal spells.
Well, there we get to see what Kastle tutored for. He got a Cobalt Therapy. Kind of nice. We know the rest of his hand is Elf, Bird, so Kastle will be able to cast this. He knows most of the contents of Rob's hand. Then he'll be able to, so he'll hit something, get to see the one mystery card he doesn't know. Then he'll get to hit something again by flashing it back, sacking a mana creature.
He knows Rob has tutor,
and whatever he tutored for last turn.
He expects that he has most likely Entomb, given the information of the matchup.
He knows that whatever the one mystery card is a card that Dougherty tutored for a turn ago. Yeah, Entomb's a good guess. Do you think he swings for that, or chooses something he knows is there?
It seems like Dougherty's committed to respond. I mean,
well, he's going to use one of his two Vamp Tutors.
Yes.
If he doesn't, Kastle names Vamp Tutor.
Yeah, if he doesn't Vamp Tutor, he definitely names Vamp Tutor.
Interesting. Kastle just.
Surely you can't say okay.
Kastle sniping for time already.
And then
Oh, he entombs. Okay. He's going to allow those Vamp Tutors to get nailed. That's really interesting.
What's going on here?
So Rob can get. Rob can get Nether Spirit.
Oh.
Which allows him to flash back his therapy.
Oh, that's cute.
For free, and also protects him from future edicts.
That's pretty good. And Rob knows that Darwin knows that Rob probably tutored for Entomb. So.
Rob, not necessarily what I would have anticipated you doing. Although the more I think about it, the more sense it makes. You're well played. I think I would not have made the right decision if I were you. I don't really need to cover up my card. There's plenty of room.
Well, it's showing which is on top of the stack.
All right. How about this? Is that cool?
Oh, whatever. That works. That's great.
Oh, we're doing that. Thank you.
Possibly the other way around.
Yes. Good point. Good point. Cobalt Therapy probably need to be banned.
Instant speed discard, a little good. Like Words of Waste. No, he was saying if it was instant speed, it would need to be banned. Sort of like Words of Waste, clearly too good. Instant speed discard. Screeching Buzzard should be discard.
It's Verdant Force, not the Nether Spirit.
Huh. We know he only has Vamp Tutor in hand, right?
Very interesting.
He only has 2 cards, I believe.
I can see it. Not necessarily what I would have done, but I can see it.
Let's give Rob seven outs to get his. I mean, he knows that Darwin doesn't really have any way to deal with a Verdant Force.
The top of his deck was insanely good to him in the quarterfinals
It's true.
against Maher.
It's true.
Maybe he just wants to will another reanimate to the top.
You're throwing to tap. Seems like I say Vampiric Tutor here, so I'm going to say Vampiric Tutor.
Okay. It's a double hit.
Nice. We knew a lot of that this one. All right, so this one actually goes to my graveyard.
Do you flash it back to nail the butcher?
Well,
or wait?
I know you've got.
Don't think the butcher's really that important.
No.
So why let you have cards in your hand? So I'm gonna Wall Therapy you again. After
loses the elf, not the bird. That actually surprises me. Isn't elf better than bird here?
Yeah, elf seems better than bird because he can beat for 1.
I know. I mean, Kastle has no gas in his hand at all.
Yeah, he can't.
I don't understand that at all.
I would have definitely used the bird. There's nothing for double black in his deck.
No, he has double green. Does he have Baloths for double green?
He's Baloths in the sideboard. I definitely would have used the bird rather than the
it
elf.
doesn't make any sense.
I enjoy beating for 1.
Oh, please. You were going for the Maya's factor
The
when
top
you're
of my deck is pretty good. There you go.
Indeed, indeed.
See, I mean, now he has absolutely 0 pressure. I mean, obviously elf isn't that much pressure.
He has a second elf.
But I mean, does he?
His hand was elf bird when last we saw it.
He flashed back. No, he already flashed back with bird. Isn't the bird already in his graveyard? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he still has an elf. So
yeah, but I believe his hand has an elf and a bird in it right now.
Currently.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So he has. I thought didn't he use the bird to flash back the first therapy?
He has another
bird. Okay. I didn't notice that.
We saw his hand like last turn.
We've seen many a hand, back and forth here.
So Kastle game going fairly much the way he wants it. He knocked all the relevant cards out of Dougherty's hand. Dougherty did manage to put Verdant Force into his graveyard, but he could not hold on to a Vampiric Tutor or a reanimation spell long enough to actually get the Force into play. Your Nether Spirit play looks pretty interesting there, though.
Yep.
I wonder if Nether Spirit wouldn't have been better.
17 passing 8.
Bird of Paradise.
Oh my goodness.
See if that was an elf. Ooh. Those would be some beats.
If it was an elf, he would have left himself vulnerable to getting 2 for 1 by therapy.
Ooh.
It's therapy off the top, though.
Well, he would have played the elf. Oh, I guess, yeah.
No, he would if he plays
That's
bird
true.
and sacks it back to the therapy. His hand is elf.
Also true.
Only Findhorn elf is legal.
Ooh. Get tricky. It's actually interesting that the YMG Reanimator deck that Dougherty's playing has 1 copy of Urborg Shambler and 1 copy of Stronghold Taskmaster.
Sure.
Quite possibly for that exact reason.
Cabal Therapy and Meddling Mage, right?
Yep.
16 passing.
Let's get the big creatures in here. Land Spirit Monger.
Raw.
Alright, I need to know what's going on over there. Let's try this again. And you'll let me know when you're ready for me to resolve that, right?
It's a lot of Cabal therapies. Yep.
He has a response.
Another Entomb.
Yep.
Well, Nether Spirit doesn't help with this one. Oh, you know why he didn't get the Nether Spirit? It's because Kastle just flashes back,
lost.
nails
Yeah, absolutely.
the Butcher.
He would have lost it with Butcher.
We're awful. We're so bad.
On occasion. Symbiotic work.
Juicy graveyard. You're not playing living. That would seem to be hard for me to beat.
We're just talking to the YMG guys at lunch about the fact that, yeah, I mean, it's obviously amazing that they developed 3 different decks that were worthy of top 8 at the Pro Tour. But part of what it was is that they were kind of worried they never figured out what the dominant deck was coming in. I mean, it's It's unusual that a team will play such wildly different decks. Some people make, it seems like maybe they didn't solve the format. Or, Castle pointed out maybe each of us thought that we had the dominant deck. I mean, Castle seemed to choose the Rock not because it suited his personal playing style, but because he just plain thought it was the best deck. Seemed to be beating everything else.
Although it is very similar to the survival of the fittest decks he used to play.
Yeah, I do
quite a bit.
I agree that it suits his style. Heard Ken Kroner describe the Rock as the 55% deck.
Not the worst. Not the worst.
I will name Diabolic Edict. It's fun.
A swing and a miss.
Therapy's power level is sinking as the game goes on.
Oh, you've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding me.
Exciting.
How his deck loves him.
And I take 8.
Just
Okay.
A rough beat.
you can't
Eight.
you can't keep cards in your hand in this format. The best place for him
Right on top of your
is
deck.
the top of your library.
Way ahead.
Wow.
Here goes.
That's exactly what he did to Maher.
Oh, he's
Maher
using his
looked-
own sapling token. They're actually sapling tokens.
Saplings.
Yes.
Different.
Oh.
They're mixing it up.
Oh.
Should I show you the FPGs?
Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
I mean, if
The advertising plug?
if you run out of these, you
Sure.
can continue with them.
Yeah.
That's Rob Dougherty. He makes his own creature tokens.
Distract Rob's top of his deck.
It doesn't matter if we distract Rob. The top of his deck's taking care of him.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll take 8.
Yeah.
18.
Bob Maher made a comment at lunch today that
Why would he
it
not
was
block
it was
me?
it was pretty problematic that
I didn't get
the
to
top
have
of
it.
Dougherty's deck was better than his vampiric tutors.
Here go.
When you're able to just peel whatever you need, who needs to pay 2 life? Just gotta cut. No.
Oh, sorry. Alright.
Castle has to
Best
top
driver,
deck
okay.
back-to-back
For
hits, right?
the game.
Well, if
He needs to
if he
deed away the guys and
yeah,
then Edict.
if he gets deed edict, he's in good shape.
But there's no one card he can draw.
No.
Yep.
Crutch.
Speaking of not letting in lethal damage, my bird's gonna jump in front of your reinforce and take one for the team.
Okay.
What's Verdant first
I'll
creature
take
type?
three
Can you
again.
Vitality Charm it? You can Vitality Charm it anyways. There's plus one and trample. Doesn't even have to be a beast.
The real question is whether you can sack it to a
Here you go.
Bailoff.
Can you? I don't know.
Time
I don't
boy.
think
I
so.
doubt it's a beast. I think it's an element.
Oh, the sapling.
Alright, so I think this comes in heading too late. Nine,
Yeah, but you really missed the whole way.
No, he's not.
That's awesome. I mean, that's awful.
I'm sorry, guys. They're making me do it.
Two, 3, 4, 5. Why didn't you come to play sooner? 'Cause I like Rob. Grr. Alright, your turn.
So
Good.
that guy just has to chump Verdant Force.
You're at 8.
Yeah.
Then
Spirit
pick-
Monger's like, you want me to do what, boss? What's going on?
I think what Dougherty wants to do here is just attack with everybody, Cabal Therapy, name Pernicious Deed,
I'm at 8.
or Edict. Does he have a Vamp Tutor?
If he's a Van Tutor, he vamps for Reanimate Reanimate Butcher. Butcher the Monger.
Yeah.
Come over for the win. Yeah, that's game if he's got the
You should
tutor.
Reanimate your symbiotic worm rub.
Instead, do that. Doing it step. Vampire tutor.
Oh, he's gonna get something else from his grapefruit other than symbiotic worm. I wonder.
Dougherty 6, Castle 7.
Yep, that should do it. Dougherty's got 6 life left.
4 life to rub.
Should be no trouble to pay 4 for the 4 to reanimate the
Real
Butcher.
problem right now. Are you saying I shouldn't have given him extra information because he might not have seen it either?
Looks like Rob Dougherty will take game 1 in the YMG showdown,
Can't really see his.
dealing Darwin Kastle the first loss the team has taken all day. 9-0 in the quarters. This is a best 3 out of 5 matchup, so still a fair amount of Magic left to play.
Well, second round, so we'll go through the motions. Although I give my teammate credit for knowing what he's doing here. All right, so yeah, there we go. That goes on top of your deck. And,
Make a sapling.
yeah, that's
A sapling.
I don't even want you to get busted.
Oh, it's a sap rolling.
Draw. Sapling as the case may be.
I'll reanimate my faceless butcher.
Seems like a good choice. My elf's shaking.
Butcher, your spirit monger.
All right, are you gonna toy with me here? Perhaps you know, give me a couple more. No.
No.
Crunch.
All right, give me back my faceless butcher, damn it.
All right, there's game 1. Rob Dougherty takes a 1-0 lead. We'll take a short break.
This is
We'll be
what I
back
have.
with more semifinal action.
Ooh. Power. The nuts.
Welcome back to the semifinals. I'm Randy Bueller here with Brian Kibler, and Your Move Games has taken another game. Chalk up victory number 11 on the day. This one goes to Justin Gary, who's taken a 1-0 lead over John Larkin in the other semifinal match. In this match, there's Rob Dougherty up a game on his teammate, Darwin Kastle. Kastle playing the Rock against Dougherty's Mono Black Reanimator, built by Dave Humphreys. Kastle trying to figure out, all right, he's a little quieter now.
Why can't you like draw like last rites or something like that?
I don't know.
Seems like I would have been
Whenever
happy.
you're ready, you
Excellent.
Darwin echoing the complaints of Bob Maher from earlier today.
True.
Why do you always draw that? How come the top of your deck is so good? You can't even therapy those away.
Do you want any reporters on this? Yeah. Oh.
All right, where's mine? Or is it over
We need
there?
predict.
Over there.
Predict you.
I missed my sideboard.
Just statistically speaking, from how today's gone, you could predict Rob and name Reanimate, and you'd hit more often than not.
I think I needed to like.
There's actually a funny story from apparently in I think it was in the Team Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Gerard Fabiano was playing, and
Gotta milk it for
he predicts himself, and he's thinking for a while, thinking, and his opponent's just like, well, what do you want, like Island or Forest? And he's like, I'll name Roar of the Worm.
What?
And he just explained after. He's just like, I just really thought the top card in my deck would be Roar of the Worm.
What? I hope he missed.
He missed. But it's interesting.
Crying inside, like perhaps you should let me win a game. It'll make.
I'm gonna build a predict deck. That's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna have brainstorms and scroll racks.
That's big of you. That's big of you.
And it's just gonna counter all my opponent's vampiric tutors. Predict.
Being there for my friend.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm building it. You mark my words. I may play it in New Orleans. The predict deck.
Whenever they're done with that, just want to
That'll be a fun one.
Oh, it will be.
Grand Prix New Orleans.
Grand Prix New Orleans. I'm going a week early for New Year's.
I think they're going to be Magic players who just collapse from exhaustion and don't even play the GP.
Quite possible. I may be one of them.
Game 2.
Who schedules a Grand Prix New Orleans for January 3rd anyway?
Someone who's very good at getting people to come to their events. So that might be one of the reasons why the group of players that I play test with doesn't have the same sort of success that YMG has.
Oh, is that what's going on?
You look at what YMG is doing between rounds here. Half the team's play testing possible finals matchups.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Last night, my team, we're going to New Orleans a week early. We're going to party.
Yes, correct.
You know, and if you're looking for anyone who I play test out there, they're probably out there drafting.
Like, I'm getting a lot of help from outside people here.
I'm calling it judge.
Yeah, it was funny. I was watching Zvi Malchowitz and Dave Humphreys. They were playing potential finals matchups.
Yes, they were playing
It's like
the possible Larkin Dougherty finals.
Yep.
What they called, quote unquote, the worst case scenario, being that it wasn't YMG versus YMG in the finals.
Sure. Well, of course you're going to test Larkin in the finals because amongst the teammates it doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're up.
Help.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
I look your best on camera.
You guys can start gaming whenever you want. You don't have to worry about your callers. Game on.
Can I double check? Michelle Bush for Black Bordered Birds of Paradise I'm playing with.
Oh, nice.
This is like some Academy Award speech or something.
Seriously, it's like I'd like to thank.
Sharpen up my play skills.
Here we go.
Alright, so presenting now.
Presented.
And parts of the sidewalk.
The YMG
Now they're just shuffling it up.
affiliation with Zvi Malchowitz seems to be going pretty well.
It does. They've had a great deal of success.
Zvi, pretty relatively recent addition to the team. Was it Worlds? Was it the first time they
It
worked
was
together?
Worlds, yes.
Love Alex.
Yeah, with Alex
Zvi
Schwarzman.
and Alex Schwarzman. It sounded like Zvi did a lot of the work for this Pro Tour.
From people who I talked to on the team, they said that Zvi was pretty much more or less the workhorse of the team. He did a large amount of the innovation play testing for a lot of the decks. Not necessarily the decks that they're playing, but
helping them figure out the field.
He got the field down pretty well and had a lot of important cards and contributions to the decks they're playing. I'm not sure who on the team it was, or maybe just a collaborative effort that decided that Cabal Therapy was perhaps one of the most important cards in the environment. But Darwin Kastle said earlier that he felt that he pretty much owed his success in this tournament to the power of Cabal Therapy.
Sure.
That he felt like without it he would have been severely disadvantaged in a number of matchups, but with it he just tore them apart. Like the Allurn matchup he played in the quarterfinals in particular, he said that their team gave up on Allurn given that they felt it didn't really have a chance to beat a deck that had 4 duress and 4 Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, they, like a lot of teams, played a lot against the Allurn deck, thinking it was one of the decks to fear.
And that was one reason that the Goblin decks that a lot of people were expecting coming into this was the reason that the deck that we played had 3 copies of Engineered Plague in the main deck.
Makes sense.
Engineered Plague Beasts shuts down the Cavern Harpy.
Yeah, a lot of those main deck Plagues and main deck Hate nailed the Allurn deck, and they hurt the Reanimator decks on day 1 too, but come day 2, it was sort of the more resilient decks. It was decks like the Rock that sort of had flexibility and answers to everything that seemed to advance. And like the coast was clear for the Reanimators. If you got through the Sea of Hate on day 1, Reanimation decks did pretty well on day 2. I mean, 3 different variants making top 8, of course.
Come on, Justin Gary.
What?
Sorry.
John Larkin was telling us, by the way, that if he can beat Justin Gary, that it doesn't matter who wins this matchup because he can beat either of these guys. Both Kastle and Dougherty, according to Larkin anyway, are severe underdogs to Larkin's Reanimator.
Larkin beat Kastle 2 games to 0 in the Swiss. When it was actually when Kastle was 10-0, he conceded to Justin Gary to try and lock Justin into the top 8, and then he lost his next 2 rounds.
Yep.
So he came very close to knocking himself out of the top 8 with that concession.
You know, like we were talking about before, you were totally the man earlier in the tournament, and when you were 10-0, conceded to Justin Gary to give him a better shot at
What in the world?
Maybe it was 2 draws.
Is Rob
And
psychic?
had a couple losses back against the wall, made it in anyway. Do you think if you won this round and Justin won his round, he'd return the favor?
Makes sense to me.
You know, you just think
It's only fair, right?
Karmic justice.
Wow, you know, I hadn't thought through enough, but I hope Justin.
He's just hoping Justin can hear them.
Like you, you're hired. Need more friends like Rob.
Don't we all?
So.
To build us constructed decks to top 8 every event ever.
Black mana.
Fair enough.
Oh, I have to
Have one.
breaking the law.
Yeah, you and your 1 color deck not having to mulligan as much as me and my 2 color deck.
You know, it's the glory of one color.
Not a lot of one-color decks in this tournament. Even the Sly decks were like, I'll play blue for Gilded Drake.
Sly with Gilded Drake.
Yeah.
Finished 10th, right? Matt ranks
11th. Matt ranks
11th?
11th with little red men.
1,
2 Suicide Blacks. I guess there were mono black was the only color that seemed to get played mono.
No mulligans.
Dougherty
Well,
in the top 8 and 2 Suicides in the top 16.
It was the only color that got duress and cabal there.
Yeah, fair enough. You pretty much had to play black in this tournament.
I don't really have a good
it's
idea of how well my deck mulligans, so this could be a mistake on my part. Best of 5, you know?
Yeah, well, this was a good time to look.
Great time for experimentation. The semifinals of the Pro Tour.
5, 6.
6 good ones, 6 mediocre ones.
Another strategic.
Love you, Rob. Love you.
All right.
It remains to be seen how good this hand is, but I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
I don't feel lucky with my 5 cards this time.
I'm not gonna cabal therapy for a pair of Allurans and a pair of Living Wishes.
Yeah, Castle
consecutive
did
turns.
mulligan down to 5 in the quarters. And then
In game 3 against Matthias Yorst, he mulliganed to 5, and Yorst played turn 1 Woodlot. Darwin with a hand of Cabal Therapy, Creature, Land. Cabal Therapy for Alluran, hit 2 Allurans, saw Wirewood Savage and Living Wish. And then Yorst played the Wirewood Savage the following turn.
Yep.
Darwin followed up, well, gotta get rid of that Living Wish, and hit 2 Living Wishes. Sort of takes the sting out of a double mulligan.
Yeah.
When you tear your opponent's hand to shreds and leave
No
them with
first
a,
turn
with a
duress
gray
from
ogre.
either player?
Wow.
What tournament is this?
Aha.
Oh, okay.
Turn 2.
Oh, that was
duress.
Llanowar Waste off the top, wasn't it?
Apparently.
That was Darwin said when he kept the 6 cards. Remains to be seen how good this hand
black
is.
are what makes my rock deck better than a lot of the other ones in this tournament. People are like, oh, you got birds, you got Yavma Elders. Like, what about turn 1 black mana?
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand how important black is. Ooh.
Dougherty shows a hand of
Oh my.
Butcher, Reanimate, Negator.
Oh my.
What are the middle 3 cards?
That looks like Entomb.
Oh my.
Oh, is that Entomb? That's why he didn't bother responding to the
God.
duress. Entomb, Reanimate. That's a nice one. Duress does absolutely nothing against that hand. Wow. Is that a duress in the middle?
It looks like it.
Yeah, we'll get to that on turn 3.
If you draw a swamp, I'm pretty unhappy, I gotta say.
If you draw a swamp, he has a swamp.
Well, he just doesn't want to face it next turn. He wants to be able to wait a turn.
He entombs now, end step, and then untaps and reanimates. What am I missing?
I don't know.
So if I take
He's
that
representing
card-
an edict, maybe?
This is gonna take me.
Sure.
Actually, I should be taking notes when I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Here you go. This is my hand. It is the Stone Cold Nuts. Feel free to write it down.
If you had a swamp, it
This
would
deck
probably
has
be the
more
best.
great 1-land hands than any other deck I've ever seen.
Why are you playing so many land then?
I don't know.
Seems like a waste.
Bad build. I'm going down to 10.
Oh, back in the no land mulligan days? How good would that be?
No, but you can take this one if you want.
Right. That's nice of you. I don't think they'd let me though.
What should Darwin take?
All right. So
I think
I'd
he
only dressed
has
last
to
turn.
take-
I'm much happier with this game.
I think he has to take a reanimate. Because, I mean, he can't kill. I mean, unless he can kill something twice.
He needs to take and reanimate and have a Diabolic EDC in his hand.
So you
Yes.
for that.
I think. If he entombs for. If you.
That.
Because I think what Dougherty actually should do here is entomb for Symbiotic Worm, reanimate Symbiotic Worm. Because then Edict almost. Well, I mean, Edict Deed still.
Yeah. But he requires him to answer.
But he has
the
to have
guys.
Edict and Deed.
So
And the thing is, Dougherty still has the duress, so he would have to. I mean, he could follow up with duress in the following turn. So I mean, he's
yeah, I guess I'm gonna take a.
reanimate.
I guess I'm gonna take a reanimate run.
Yep.
Yeah, all that if you have a swamp talk is basically if Dougherty can go,
He can go
duress
duress
reanimate,
Yes.
that would be. All right.
Entomb Symbiotic.
What are you
Worm.
going to entomb?
And you have
4 cards.
I'm with you. I think Symbiotic Worm's the man.
I mean, I don't see any reason to get anything else.
casting into.
Creative decision. I'd like to thank Darwin Kastle for supporting my college education by drinking Coca-Cola.
Like was just taunting me, but making me think it was giving me black mana. Things are okay. Sigh. I think things are very not okay now.
Did people used to talk in emotions before we all spent all our time chatting on the internet?
Just say sigh.
I don't remember people saying
Go ahead
sigh.
and life soon.
Probably not. So people certainly didn't say LOL, and they certainly do now.
Yep, there's Symbiotic Worm. I think with this format, could really use is more shuffle effects. People just don't shuffle their decks often enough.
I think we're hitting fine glaciers.
I'm still done.
Does Dougherty make insect tokens? I don't know. I don't know if we're
I don't
prepared
know.
for this.
No, Rob,
We got the
Rob doesn't have
Saprolinks.
any.
Rob doesn't have them either.
Rob, I don't think Rob makes them.
Do we make insect tokens?
I don't think so.
I don't know that they
Just saying
exist.
your favorite route. All right. Snatching route down to 12.
Darwin's ahead.
Sure he is.
There you go.
I'm getting some more creatures. Here you go.
Well, everyone's assuming I'm going to kill your symbiotic worm. That's a pretty big assumption, I gotta say.
He's a big boy.
But I like that plan, the whole killing it plan. It seems like a good plan.
I'm not sure we've printed insect tokens.
I don't think there are. I don't think I've seen any.
No, I don't think
Alright.
they exist.
I'm going to take another point.
Oh, Cabal Therapy.
Well, therapy you.
That's not a diabolic edict.
Okay. So
I think you have to name duress
Duress.
because you have to take you have to be able to protect your ability to
What if you don't have anything in
eat
your
a
hand?
deed. I mean, maybe you don't. I mean, Entomb doesn't do anything.
No, Entomb
I mean,
doesn't.
those are the only cards.
Entomb or duress?
It's duress. I mean, Entomb doesn't do anything. I don't understand how it's a decision. What can he entomb
Maybe
for? It's
determining your next turn by what I choose here, Rob.
Which would you like me to do more?
I think I'm going to take.
oh, I guess he can.
Entomb Nether Spirit or something?
He could entomb
taking
Cabal
that.
Therapy. And then flashback Cabal Therapy and name.
That's cute. He loses to
Name
Deed if
Deed.
he does that, though.
Yeah.
He loses to Top Deck Deed.
Yeah, it doesn't seem.
Oh.
He named the Entomb, didn't he?
Information.
Yeah, it's-
tricky, Rob Dougherty.
Oh.
that's
Drew the land and didn't play it.
Ooh.
Nice.
Rob is very tricky.
Wow. I don't really want to see a negator hidden play, I gotta say. We may need to take that too. I
Time to
think about-
flashback Cabal Therapy.
I think about that.
No, boss, not me. He's the bird.
All right. Yeah, there is a bird of paradise. All
The
right.
happiest Llanowar elf in the world.
All right. So if I let
That Llanowar elf doesn't realize he's going to be blocking a worms shortly.
negator hit play.
If you let Negator hit play, you lose, I think. Well, actually, you could play Deed, untap.
And you
Deed
could
for-
just bolt
no,
the
you die.
Negator.
If you bolt the Negator, bolt it.
Volcanic Hammer off the bird. Implode your board.
So
There's actually
if I take negator, then you.
two players who I, well, actually several players who I ended up giving copies of the Psychotalk deck that I played to.
Yep.
Eric Franz and Gabriel Carlton Barnes. They decided that they didn't think Engineered Plague was good enough against Slidex, and they decided to play with Sickening Dreams, which has pretty interesting interactions against Phyrexian Negator.
So it does.
Boom.
That's fine. If I don't take Negator, no wait.
It's gonna be a magic for puzzling soon.
I think I gotta say go here, Rob. Your turn.
Interesting.
Maybe he has to cast. Maybe he has a Spirit Monger to cast.
Spirit Monger's bigger than Negator.
He's also.
Yeah, I'm taking 7. 11. Oh, 7-11. Sounds good to me.
Monger would beat up the Negator. Pretty much shuts it down, right?
Yeah.
And since you can't attack with Negator without getting your board imploded, it means that the Monger can block the Symbiotic Worm, in theory. If he goes land Monger, then Dougherty needs more gas.
I'd rather you were luckier against other people.
Do you think Dougherty should duress or Negator here?
I think Dougherty duresses. I'm not sure. If he plays Negator, Darwin has to have land Spirit Monger.
Right.
I think it's the only play that makes Negator just not great.
I agree.
If he duresses, then land Spirit Monger is still, I mean, it's still problematic. Although if he plays Negator and he draws a swamp or drew a swamp,
there's Negator. Fatty.
If he drew a swamp or he draws a swamp this turn, he can just butcher and kill, I believe.
Right.
Asking for a land that doesn't come into play tapped isn't too much. Yeah. Or maybe it is.
Yep.
Sounds like Kastle has the Monger needed to land.
His plan was Spirit Monger, but it apparently didn't work out.
Yeah, 11. Right. 11. Yeah.
Kastle was asking his deck for a land that doesn't come into play tapped.
Yes.
Does he have lands that come into play tapped?
Treetop Village.
Oh, he's a Treetop Village. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe 23 land isn't enough.
Then land, you butcher.
It's always impressive when decks can keep good one-land draws that are actually good.
Absolutely.
I remember back at Dave Price's LA, I thought that was the reason that red deck was so ridiculous.
Yeah, because it could just
you
keep
keep one-land hands.
mountain and just go conscript like guy.
And the guys are plenty big enough. Like, so real
conscript
strength
and
of that deck.
Jackal Puff, 2 power creatures for 1 mana.
Right,
Just
so
mauled
11,
people.
So I take 5 and 6.
This Reanimator deck looks very similar in that respect.
It does.
One-land hand, sure.
Except its creatures are 7/7s, and they make guys.
You know, when you put a Giant Strength on Wrathy Dragon, that's
He is
7/7.
7/7. However, he doesn't come into play on turn 2.
Learn a little bit about your sideboarding, ball therapy. I'm gonna say faceless butcher Rob Dougherty.
That's
You
right.
got him.
Nice. I mean, whatever.
Oh, he had the swamp too,
Swamp over there.
so he could have butchered the Monger.
Yep.
Castle's better off not having drawn the land. He would have just lost.
Now he can, if he has Yavimaya Elder, he can throw that in the way of something to get a land, play a Monger. And,
Critical, no taking. Alright, so ball therapy.
but that's too slow, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Bird's got to get jumpy here, right?
Yep.
Sure looks like Rob Dougherty is going to win his 5th consecutive game of the day.
Yes.
To concede as a response time.
Seems like he might as well.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah, I think we can see it here, actually.
There you go. Rob Dougherty takes a 2-0 lead on Darwin
That's
Kastle.
one way to win a game.
We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more semifinal coverage. Welcome back. It's game 4 between Rob Dougherty and Darwin Kastle. It looked really good for Dougherty about a turn ago. He seems to have entombed and reanimated a fast Verdant Force here in game 4. But last turn, Kastle butchered the Verdant Force and Cabal Therapy and a pair of Vampiric Tutors out of Dougherty's hand. So quite a turn last turn for Kastle. And Dougherty's going to Cabal Therapy him back.
This is the best ball therapy's ever looked in your deck right now.
Naming Yavimaya Elder.
Yep.
Oh, nice hit.
Ooh, Pernicious Deed.
Well, there's Saprolings available for flashing back.
Maybe. Maybe not.
I'm going to do it again, naming Pernicious.
Shocking. Your ball therapy goes away.
So it's
Hey, that guy
Treetop.
doesn't go in the yard. No
It's
reanimating the
Treetop and
Sapperling.
Butcher versus a pair of Saprolings. Dougherty had another one of these one-land draws that he could keep because it was amazing.
All right, go.
Crazy. But Castle had the answer he needed. Had the Butcher.
All right, what's Rob's life for left?
You're at 10 and
I'm at 10, Rob's at 12.
I think you attack. No, you don't.
Well, he wins the race because of the Treetop.
Yeah.
I'm attacking.
Yeah, he wins this race. Nothing else happens.
Yeah.
Plus, he wants to make reanimating. He wants to make reanimate hard later.
Here comes Sapperlings. Or not.
So if I can stop it.
Dougherty's got a race back, right?
Oh,
Is he looking for
things, tokens? If I control the Yavimaya Elder and it goes to the graveyard, would I draw a card?
Yeah, you get
You
all
get the
benefits.
lands and yeah, you get all that.
Aha.
Is that about to happen?
I will reanimate.
That's a nice reanimate target.
Yavimaya Elder.
That's a nice one.
It is.
Taking 3.
Yep, taking 3.
3 going to 7.
And I'll send for 1.
Yep, send one token. Have the other one available to double
Good
block the
beats,
Butcher.
good beats.
Thank you.
Castle acknowledges the good beats.
Or the treetop.
Or the tree, sure.
Here you go.
I think he. Oh. Dave Humphreys watching from the catwalk. I can see on.
Hello, Dave. He's waving it. Oh, there he is. Let's hear it for Dave
Couple
Humphreys.
He has it. Humphreys built this deck. It's so cool that you've got YMG, 3 guys in the top 8, and there's all these other players.
Ooh,
Just,
he peeled
oh,
a
that was
lead.
nice off the top. All these YMG teammates just sort of lurking in the background.
The top of the collective
testing
YMG deck is pretty good.
It's funny, I guess Humphreys gets to watch now that Larkin's been dispatched. There's no longer a matchup to test for the finals that isn't teammate against teammate.
That's true.
They let him back out of the
testing cage.
The testing cage, well said. Pernicious Deed off the top, wow.
I think Darwin should deed for 4. Yeah, this is the 3rd time, I believe, that 2 members of Your Move Games have made the top 8 of a Pro Tour, and now every possible combination of Rob, Darwin, and Dave have made top 8. It was Rob and Dave in the Tinker Pro Tour, New York, New Jersey actually, Secaucus. Then it was I believe it was New Orleans just last year when it was Darwin and Dave, and now Darwin and Rob here in Houston.
Darwin plays the deed, threatening to blow up the tokens. Attacks with his Butcher. Dougherty goes ahead and double blocks. He wants to get the deeding out of the way now.
He also just can't take that much damage.
Doesn't want to take 2 damage. He gets to draw 2 lands.
Sadly, he cannot search for a City of Traders.
Sitting at 7.
Now, if he has a faceless Butcher, he plays a land. Darwin attacks him for 5. He plays another land.
Yeah.
Butchers the Butcher and has Verdant back.
Yeah, he pretty much has 2 turns to get Get a butcher.
And he can't tutor for it because of the life loss.
So you, before those, you have how many cards in hand?
One.
One. Okay. So you need to draw something.
Yeah, Dougherty needs to draw something. That'll never happen.
He can draw a negator.
Oh, that's cute.
He can just cast a negator.
True.
All right.
He loses 2/3 of his land by blocking, but
I mean,
getting Verdant is plenty.
I mean, Darwin wouldn't
Yeah,
attack.
Darwin wouldn't
basically,
even
he could just send with Treetop,
Ah,
which would kill all the land.
yeah. Butcher's or Negator's not that good.
Here you go.
Oh, the tree comes over this turn, right?
Dougherty goes to 2 this turn.
So Castle's gonna smash him down to 2, and then we get to find out how good Rob's top decking skills are.
Want to
Needs
put a bet
go.
on it?
I'm not betting against Dougherty, that's for sure.
Oh, neither am I. Anyone in the crowd want to take a bet that Dougherty's going to cast Faceless Butcher next turn? Is Huey out there? Huey will bet with me. He'll always bet on anything.
Castle contemplating Diabolic Edict. That's another card Dougherty could have top decked to be pretty good.
Diabolic Edict.
He would have already edicted the Butcher, though, right? To get his Verdant back?
Rob? Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, he'd have to kill the.
You're confused.
All right, Butcher.
Why wouldn't Darwin attack with Treetop?
He's worried about Diabolic Edict, but I think it's a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
I think the edict would have already happened.
The edict would have happened last.
He didn't. He
turn,
deeded.
wouldn't
He
it?
did not have the mana to
Yeah, he
activate
didn't
the
have
tree.
No, he could activate with itself last.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me!
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
I'm surprised.
Rob Dougherty, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not surprised.
Can Castle mess this up with an edict somehow?
Yeah, put its ability in the stack, edict you, so your butcher goes away forever. That wouldn't be very.
Yeah, that's
good.
even worse, right?
I mean, he could edict him and
He lets it
kill-
resolve, then
he
he
has to let it
edicts and
resolve
gets his
to
butcher
edict,
back.
Yeah.
He has to let it resolve. That's all he can do with his edict is mess up if he tries to get tricky
Yeah.
with the stack, right?
Yes.
I assume Castle has an edict from how much he's thinking about this.
All right. So
Whee!
there's no stack at this point. Like as soon as
The butcher comes into play.
so it's in place. Then he
Right.
targets this, right?
Yeah, then the
Alright, and
comes
then-
into play ability goes to the stack, targeting your butcher.
All right, and okay, then
He's not going to mess this up, is he?
No.
If you resolve, the butcher gets removed. This goes back to his side. This doesn't go to the stack.
Right, and then so okay.
Hey, figured it out. There you go.
The ability use the stack, but once the ability resolves,
All right.
Here you go.
I'm
coming
got
back
it.
from the bird falls to his side of play. That doesn't go. It's done.
So I'm guessing
Maybe he
that
has
he's
a
going
vamp
to
tutor?
Well,
Vamp tutor for edict? Trying to figure out. Oh, yep, he's got the edict. Bye Verdant Force. Yep, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Do what you got to do.
draw Exhume.
Smash with Treetop.
That's great village.
Dougherty has to take it, right?
Take it.
Village.
Ouch.
Whoa.
Exhume or no?
Like I said, the collective YMG deck. It's got a nice top. Nice top.
All right, Dougherty's turn.
Exhume.
Dougherty's at 2.
He needs an Exhume.
He needs Exhume, yeah.
Come on, Exhume. I don't actually. Does Exhume even do it? If he draws Exhume, he gets back Verdant Force. Darwin gets back Llanowar Elf.
No, he needs Exhume followed by, like, another Butcher.
Yeah.
Game 5? Or another miraculous top deck. Swamp.
Exhume. Exhume would be hilarious.
Exhume.
What the?
This
What
is
on
ridiculous.
earth?
This is ridiculous.
Guess they didn't know you had Exhume like I did.
Yep.
Oh, that's no fun.
I didn't have a notepad.
We weren't here for the Cabal therapy all that time ago.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Still on your turn.
I think he has to. I think he has to sack the Elder, get a land so he can attack with both treetop villages.
During your turn, I'm going to sacrifice my Elder.
Because then
Yep.
he's committed to blocking with Butcher.
Yep.
So then the Verdant Force will go away. Although then there'll be just Butcher in play. Because he'll double block. Well, no, there'll be Butcher and a token. Now the token will get plowed, so there'll be just Butcher in play.
Yep.
Right. That's fine. Alright, I'm going to cut. I'm going to drop for the Elder.
Yep.
This goes here. I'm going to untap.
Upkeep.
Keep, you get a guy. I'm going to draw a card.
Yep.
Alright, you're 2. And you have a card in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
He does take down both trees here, right?
You have to
That's
attack
good
both
news.
trees.
I mean, one gets munched by Verdant.
Yeah.
The second
both
one, he
trees
has to
die.
block it, so he blocks with Saproling Butcher.
If Rob's last card is Diabolic Edict, what a smashing.
Yeah.
I'm going to Cabal Therapy, you're right.
And then
Diabolic Edict.
I'm going to activate 2 villages and send...
Yep. Double block, block. Both trees
Right.
die.
Yep.
3 your Faceless Butcher, 3 your Verdant Force.
Yep.
Both trees die. Butcher goes away, which means
I get
Butcher
back
comes
Faceless
back.
Butcher, and I'm going to take Verdant Force.
Yep.
A fine choice.
Yep, yep.
It's a pretty scary Sapperling token, though.
How good
Faceless
is Rob
Butcher.
Dougherty?
Faceless Butcher.
Or Edict.
Yeah, Edict, Butcher.
He's got a turn to chump block.
Negator.
And Negator's good.
Exhume.
Nether Spirit.
It's a little chumpy guy.
Right? I mean,
They
double
gang
block.
up, yeah.
Here you go.
That's fine. I mean, we're
Yeah.
stable until Darwin draws something.
Well, Darwin's got cards in hand though, so
Yeah.
like land deed for 3.
Llanowar Elf.
Elf.
Seems like that'd be a bad trade for me. Different.
I'd agree. Negator. Or just land hardcast Vizara.
Here you go.
Different.
Yeah, you can't give Dougherty that many top decks, can you?
Yeah. Everyone counts.
Yeah, not a whole lot to talk about here. Let's just see what happens.
Who's gonna rip? Has he got to reanimate? Gonna reanimate something for 1?
He can get Llanowar Elf if he really
He
wants
can
to.
get an elf.
He could be calculating what to name with a new Cabal therapy.
Full therapy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And duress.
Oh,
Nailed 2 duresses. Wow.
spicy.
This always happens when we stall. I draw 2 duresses in a row. We figured that out.
Here you go.
Draw a nice one there.
Here you go.
The
That's
elf
actually
beats.
relevant. That
It
means
is.
he can't attack. He can't double block Butcher on an attack now, because he can't afford to take both elf hits.
The elf is a beast. He's actually creature type elf, tribally speaking. Here, he might be considered a beast.
Pretty good with Sahara. That'd be cool. For you, maybe.
Oh, it would be cool.
It would be very cool.
Here you go.
So Castle should attack.
Draw.
He should just smash, right?
I think so.
Only bad thing that can happen is Diabolic Edict.
Yeah.
All right. So you're still at 2.
Diabolic Edict's a beating, though.
But
You know,
everybody.
if Rob has the Edict, then he
Attack.
gets to double block the Butcher. And he
Yeah.
gets his Big Daddy back. Oh wow!
Rob Dougherty, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop saying if. Start saying when.
We should stop saying if he has the Diabolic Edict. Start saying when.
When he decides to play the Stone Cold Nuts, because he will, he was just slow playing it. He was slow playing it.
Kill another spirit. You get attack for
Best fatty ever printed. Coming back.
Oh.
I'd be good if you play for
Fine, I dressed for that one turn. Assuming. All right.
Castle
I'm
wishing he'd
gonna
duressed back on that one turn.
do 1 to you and 2 to the Nether Spirit.
Nether Spirit dies for good because there's other creatures in the graveyard, right?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Dougherty falls down to 1. But it's that 20th point of damage that actually matters.
That's enough to do.
Some math.
What math?
What math you do?
Reminder to the audience about what the schedule is for today. After this match ends, we'll be bringing you the finals of the Master Series between Gary Wise and Jens Turen. Then it'll be Justin Gary versus quite possibly Rob Dougherty if this board position stays in place for long.
Yep.
I think
Dougherty up 2-1.
I think Dougherty's actually committed to just attacking with Sapperling here, because he doesn't want to lose to Pernicious Deed for 0.
I'll buy that.
Unless he has a guy, I think he just wants to attack with Sapperling.
Losing to Deed for 0
Losing
would
to
be
Deed for
annoying.
0 would be really bad.
Why? This is
Don't-
greedy, isn't it?
Unless he has another guy.
Sure. He better have a guy.
Yeah.
That's really greedy.
Or an Edict.
Damn Tutor, my hand's looking not so good now.
Haha. He did want to take... Taking Vampire Tutor out of play, though, might actually be worth it.
Well, but who needs Vampire 2 and Pernicious Deeds on the top of my deck already?
Was it? Yeah, I think actually taking Vampire Tutor out of play. There it is, Rob Dougherty. Wow. Nice game, nice match. It'll be Rob Dougherty versus Justin Gary in the finals of Pro Tour Your Move games. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with the finals of the Master Series.